Good morning, Bhante. Therwan Saranai.
Okay. හරිනේ.
හරි වන්තේ. මං මේ YouTube එකෙන් බලන්න. බැලුවොත් මම ආපහු එන්න.
Now, friends, you can ask your questions. Chaturi?
Yes, Bhante.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Bhante.
Okay.
Okay, so we have one question already, and this is regarding the 5 kinds of mental seclusion that you talked about yesterday. What is the difference between the complete destruction of defilements, that is called samuchaya, and permanent destruction of defilements? What's the difference between these two?
Tadanga Vikambana Samucheda and Patipasadhi. The difference between Samucheda and Patipasadhi means once a person attains full enlightenment like arhathood, once the person has attained it, then in his fruition stage, he would let go of all his anusayas. Asava, anusaya, we have 2 types of defilements, and abandoning completely, destroying anusaya, underlying tendencies, is called patipasadhi. In Anapanasati Sutta, in the last tetrad, Dhammanupassana, we can see Viraganupassi, Aniccanupassi, Viraganupassi, Nirodhanupassi, Patinisagganupassi. That Patinisagga is the last stage of abandoning of underlying tendencies without leaving any ignorance of any sort in his mind. That is called patipasadhi. Tranquil feeling. Pasadhi means peace, tranquility. Feeling perfect peace and tranquility in the stage. Okay?
Thank you, Bhante. I don't see another question from the chat, but I had a Pali question in terms of the etymology of the words. What's the difference between vimokha and nibbana? In one case, it starts with vi, which I think means differentiate, and in the other case, we have nibbana, which starts with an I, which I think means without. What's if you break down the word vimokha between vi and mokha, and nibbana between ni and bana, what does it mean?
These 2, nibbana, vimokha, nimokha, are used synonymously. There are no any difference in these words. They are used for the same thing. Destruction of craving and ignorance is called tanhakkayo virago nirodho nibbana. That is how Buddha defined nibbana. Tanhakkayo, abandoning, destroying, eliminating craving. Virago, elimination of the attachment. Nirodho, cessation of all suffering, is called Nibbana. And the same meaning we can find in the word vimokha and nimokha. There are in Buddhist sort of what you call vocabulary, there are 32 words for Nibbana listed in a book called Nighandu. Nighandu is a kind of dictionary of words. There we find 32 names for Nibbana. Nimokka, Vimokka are two of them.
And what is the difference between Vibhanga and Vipassana?
Vibhanga and Vipassana?
Yeah, in terms of the Pali root words, between the word Bhanga and the word Pasana.
Vipassana and what?
And Vibhanga.
Vibhanga, okay, Vibhanga. Vibhanga means analysis. Vipassana means seeing in a very special way. Vibhanga is analysis. You keep, just like atomist, you keep dividing, and then explaining and trying to understand each word separately. That kind of analytical approach is called Vibhanga, dividing.
Is it included in Vipassana? Is one included in the other?
That might help Vipassana practice when we do it intellectually. That would help person to reach insight, mindfulness, or Vipassana. And in fact, Vipassana is a Pali word for sati, which has a very specific meaning, and Buddha has explained sati in terms of 4 foundations of mindfulness. Sati, mindfulness of the body, feeling, mind, and mind objects or Dhamma. Becoming sati or mindful of these things. That means seeing the body as body, seeing feeling as feeling, seeing the mind as mind, seeing mind object as mind object. Seeing the body as body means the body is constantly, continuously changing. This is called anicca, viraga, nirodha, patinissagga, and so forth. We see them in this way. Then anicca, dukkha, anatta, viparinama dhamma, kaya dhamma, vaya dhamma, viraga dhamma, nirodha dhamma, sankata, paticcasamuppanna, netam mama, nesohamasi, nemesotas. The whole list of things are given. I don't have time to explain all of them now. In other words, seeing the body always in a state of flux, inside and outside. Similarly, seeing feelings changing all the time. Seeing the mind state like the mind with desire, mind without desire, mind with hatred, mind without hatred, mind with delusion, mind without delusion, and so forth. Whatever state of mind we experience, that also is changing all the time. And mind objects like 5 hindrances, then 5 aggregates, factors of enlightenment, and the fact in the Noble Eightfold Path, and what you call fetters that arise depending on the eyes and visual objects and so on, they all are constantly changing. And seeing them changing as they change is vipassana. For our vipassana meditation, to see things as they really are, we always must use our 5 aggregates. When we talk about mind and mind objects, they all include the four aggregates. Form is one aggregate, feeling, perception, volitional formations, and consciousness are the remaining four aggregates. They all are changing all the time. And they are impermanent, therefore they are unsatisfactory, and therefore they don't have a self. Seeing these three things, three characteristics of every part of our body, feeling, perception, volition, and consciousness, is called vipassana. And therefore, vipassana is a very specific term. Vibhanga is dividing, analyzing each part. This analytical knowledge you gain, some knowledge, analyzing. The gaining knowledge through analysis is one thing. Gaining insight through experience is quite another. So what vipassana does, that it allows us to experience things and realize the truth. Okay?
Thank you, Bhante. The next question from the chat is, when we practice yoniso manasikara, is there active thinking involved? And what is the difference between vimamsa versus yoniso manasikara?
Okay. Vimansa, yoniso manasikara also seems to be synonymous. Vimansa is used in the Bhujanga and Iddhipada and Noble Eightfold Path, right understanding, or it is another word is another name for wisdom. Vimansa is wisdom. Yoniso manasikara also is wisdom factor. Yoniso manasikara means seeing from the root of our mental state. There are 6 roots. In unwholesome side, greed, hatred, and delusion. Wholesome side, non-greed, non-hatred, non-delusion. These are 6 roots. Whenever thought arises in our mind, we immediately look at it whether it stems from greed or hatred or delusion, or it stems from non-greed, non-hatred, non-delusion. When we see something arising from greed, we immediately activate our mind to arouse energy to get rid of that greed, to overcome arrogant, unwholesome mental state. This is one of the 4 efforts. And if it is wholesome mental state that arises, then we make effort to maintain, cultivate, develop that wholesome mental. These are the thoughts, and we are actively participating in this thinking. And then eventually they will fade away, and we can switch back to our mindfulness, awareness of what is happening. Awareness, we don't have to use a word for awareness. Awareness is almost passive, and yet it opens the wisdom eye. But active thinking helps to get this awareness. Yes. So yoniso manasikara and vipassana. Yoniso manasikara. Yoni means the origin, beginning, root. Manasikara means bring into the mind, becoming aware. in another place, Buddha mentioned, Manasikara Sambhava Sabbe Dhamma. All Dhammas, mind states, arise from reflection, from becoming aware. So we become aware of the roots, from the root. Yet that is why it is called yoniso, from the root, manasikara, reflection. Vipassana is seeing passively to develop our insight and open the eye of wisdom. Okay?
Thank you, Bhante. The next question is, Bhante, what are the external conditions that are most conducive for the development of concentration?
External conditions.
That are best for development of concentration.
External conditions is not to associate with unconcentrated people who don't develop concentration. Not to associate with them, because when you associate with them, your mind will be distracted. They will drag you into all kind of nonsensical discussion, talks, not conducive to the development of our spiritual practice. Not to associate with them. Secondly, don't have too much food in the stomach. You will feel sleepy. And don't have too many activities. You must minimize your activities. Make your life simple. So you mentioned, for example, death in the car. What is that? Okay.
That's the next question.
Next question. Okay, external conditions for what you call concentration are those conditions. Hindrances, for instance. Hindrances are some are external, some are internal. External hindrances are like your noisy places. That is why the formula itself is quite secluded from sense pleasures, secluded from unwholesome state of mind. When we are engaged in sense pleasures, you cannot gain concentration. Sense pleasures doesn't arise within itself. It arises through the contact of our senses and sensory stimuli. For instance, seeing visual objects, hearing sound, smelling, and the food, tasting, the physical touch. And these are external things. And if we are not secluded from them, then it is difficult for you to gain concentration. And therefore that is why Buddha very specifically mentioned, go to a forest, empty house, empty place, and go to a root of a tree and so forth, away from human beings, away from muscle activities. All these things are hindrances. Avoiding them help one gain concentration. Yeah.
The next question is, are sudden or freak accidents a result of karma? For example, if you die in a car crash or if there is an earthquake, when these events affect our loved ones, is there suffering due to karma as well? So basically, if there is a major accident that happens in your life or in the life of loved ones, is this all the result of karma?
Well, we cannot say everything is the result of karma. some of our accidents can be caused by karmic results, residual karma. Karma, by the way, ends as soon as karma is committed. Karma ends right there. But a karmic consequence, karmic results can linger in this life or life after this. So sometimes it is possible that someone met with accident because of karma. Sometimes it is not. For instance, somebody is driving and falls asleep. When he falls asleep, he hit some tree or light post or somewhere and met with an accident and died. It is not karma, it is because of sleepiness. Suppose somebody is drinking and he get drunk and drive, then he meet with an accident. That is not a karma, that is because of his unmindful behavior. He was drunk. Or somebody may be driving and talking and holding, both of them hold the steering wheel and pulling here, pulling then, meet an accident. So these are not due to previous karmic results, but instantly they meet with this karma with this accident because of this unmindful behavior. Okay?
Yes, Bhante. The next question is about the 5 aggregates. The person understood that these would be destroyed when one attains parinibbana, but they're also asking, can you destroy the 5 aggregates when you're still alive? When there is still form, feeling, and consciousness, unless of course you're ending your own life. They thought that they're only destroyed when you attain the state of parinibbana. Can you please clarify this?
You think when you attain nibbana,
Parinibbana, that the 5 aggregates are destroyed. They would like clarification on this.
When you attain enlightenment, you don't destroy your 5 aggregates. Aggregates are still there. What you destroy are all the defilements related to 5 aggregates. That is called kilesa parinibbana. Kilesa parinibbana means destruction of all defilements. Whatsoever, every defilement is destroyed. But the form is there, feeling is there, perception is there, consciousness is there, your thinking is there, all the 5 aggregates are there. And that is called sa upadisesa nibbana. Sa upadi means these 5 aggregates. Sesa means living, existing while existing. Parinibbana. What it means is that you destroy all defilements, but the 5 aggregates are there. Only when you die, and then your 5 aggregates comes to an end at that time. In fact, when ordinary person die without attaining enlightenment, for him in that life his 5 aggregates ends. Because when we die, our body disintegrates, feeling disappears, perception disappears, thinking disappears, consciousness disappears, all disappear. But if we have not attained enlightenment, we will have another life. So we will be reborn. Then again these 5 aggregates begin to manifest life after life. sometimes 5 aggregates, sometimes 4 aggregates, sometimes 1 aggregate. 5 aggregates existence equal panchavokara bhava. When we have only 4 aggregates, it equals chatuvokara bhava. When we have only 1 aggregate, it equals ekavokara bhava, and so forth. The aggregates exist. But when we attain enlightenment, all defilements will be destroyed, and when we die as an enlightened person, then even the 5 aggregates come to an end, never to arise again. Because the reasons for arising again are all destroyed. What are the reasons? Ignorance and craving. When there are ignorance and craving, we commit karma. So long as these 3 exist, we come to life again in another form. And therefore, we must understand this difference. Then that is why there are 2 words, anupadisesa nibbana and nirupadisesa nibbana. Anupadisesa, nirupadisesa. Anupadisesa means that you destroy all defilements and still you live until your lifespan is over. Suppose you are born to live for 100 years, you will live 100 years, but you attain enlightenment when you are 45, so another 55 you live without defilements. When after that 45 years you pass away, then all the 5 aggregates also die forever. That's called nirupadisesa nibbana. No upadi. Upadi means another name for aggregates. Okay?
The next question, Bhante, is please offer some guidance on developing the ability to reflect wisely. How does one establish a disciplined, sustained curiosity? It can seem to begin with a reflection, but then the mind can get off topic. So what's your advice to start reflecting wisely without being distracted?
Okay. How to establish a discipline, sustained.
To reflect wisely, having the discipline to reflect wisely.
Reflect right view, discipline. Yes. A right view is samadhi, knowing the suffering, cause of suffering, end of suffering, the path leading to the end of suffering. These are the 4 noble truths. Right view means knowing them very, very well. Right view. Samadhi. In order to have this awareness, this knowledge, or even to realize them, one has to pay total, undivided, mindful attention to one's own 5 aggregates. And then one will understand suffering. Suffering actually is such a big word. Most of us know only very tiny little of suffering. Maybe 1%. The rest we don't know because the suffering is so subtle, so difficult to understand. For instance, I give you one example. We live. We like to live. There is nothing wrong in living. And this existence, in Buddha's terms, existence itself is suffering. And Buddha called it, in short, the 5 aggregates are suffering. Maintaining 5 aggregates is living. How many things we do to maintain these aggregates? That is nothing wrong in that. When we live, we have to maintain it. And this maintaining to live these 5 aggregates itself is suffering. So, like that, we have to understand the entire, the whole spectrum of suffering. And therefore, in order to understand suffering, we have to pay attention to the same 5 aggregates that we maintain through all means. And then we will see suffering. And there are various lists of suffering. The lists themselves are not suffering. For instance, birth is suffering. When we hear the word birth is suffering, people will laugh. Because when we have birth, we celebrate it. Birthday celebration. When a baby is born, everybody gets together, kissing, hugging, and passing the baby from one hand to another, and so forth. They enjoy. How can that be a suffering? That's a moment of pleasure. So, because of our distorted perception, vipallasa, we interpret suffering as happiness. It is our mental state. Now, when we say this, people who have children, expecting grandchildren, entertaining children and grandchildren, looking after children and grandchildren, will be very upset. And that is also a sign of suffering. Not accepting the truth is suffering. And rejecting truth also suffering. See how subtle it is. And therefore, right attitude is impartially understanding, without emotional involvement, without biases and prejudices. We must understand the true nature of life. That is the right attitude to develop right view. Right view. I rather would say right understanding rather than view. Anyway, since it is a popular translation, we use it. But keeping in mind, it simply means right, correct understanding. So, we understand correctly, rightly, the whole spectrum of suffering from all angles. That is the attitude we have to have, right view. I think there can be many more questions. If you have any short question, expecting short answer, please ask. Otherwise, we will move on to the next part of the
We have
session.
one quick question in the chat. I don't know how brief it is. If it's too long, maybe we can address it next time. What is cessation of mind and what is themeless concentration? So they would like to know what's cessation of mind and what's themeless concentration.
Okay.
I think it's like in Majjhima Nikaya 121 when it's called Animitta Chitta Samadhi Sutta. Themeless concentration.
Unlimited concentration.
Animitto Chitto Samadhi.
Animitta Chitta Samadhi. Okay.
Yeah, what's the difference between this and cessation of mind?
Okay. I think the cessation of mind and Animitta Samadhi is the same. Animitta means there are no nimitta. Nimitta means sign. Raga nimitta, dosa nimitta, moha nimitta. These are the three signs. These are totally, completely abandoned, destroyed. Then you gain, your concentration is pure. Concentration is pure even when you attain the fourth jhana. That is, you keep the fourth mundane jhana. When you go to supramundane state, all the defilements are totally destroyed. Your mind is, the object of your mind is Nibbana. So, focusing mind on that Nibbana is Animitta Samadhi. Because Nibbana doesn't have any sign, Nibbana. No Raga Nimitta, no Dosa Nimitta, no Moha Nimitta. What it has is just pure peace. Pure peace. So the mind doesn't have any particular external object or internal other object other than the peace, and mind focus on that peace. That is called Animitta Samadhi. Okay? I think, Chaturi, we have to end this session like this, and we must spend some time in meditation practice. Okay?
Yes, Bhante.
Okay. Let me see. Okay. Okay. Now let us focus your mind on this, on the discourse on loving friendliness. May all beings be happy and secure. May all beings have happy minds. Whatever living beings there may be, without exception, weak or strong, long, large, medium, short, subtle or gross, visible or invisible, living near or far, born or coming to earth, may all beings have happy minds. Let no one deceive another, nor despise anyone anywhere. Neither from anger nor ill will should anyone wish harm to another. As a mother would risk her own life to protect her only child, even so towards all living beings, one should cultivate a boundless heart. One should cultivate for all the world a heart of loving friendliness, above, below, and all around, unobstructed, without hatred or resentment. Whether standing, walking, or sitting, lying down or whenever awake, one should develop this mindfulness. This is called divinely dwelling here, not falling into erroneous views, but virtuous and endowed with vision, removing desire for sensual pleasures. One comes again to birth in the womb. Okay, let us focus our mind on meditation. By means of these meritorious deeds, may I never join with the foolish, may I join always with the wise, until the time I attain Nibbana. May the suffering be free from suffering, may the fear-struck be free from fear, may the grieving be free from grief, so too may all beings be. From the highest realm of existence to the lowest, may all beings arisen in these realms, with form and without form, with perception and without perception, be released from all suffering and attain to perfect peace. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Friends, this is the end of today's session. We want to share our metta with everybody. As we say every day, may all beings all persons in hospitals suffering from various diseases, taken care of by very compassionate doctors, nurses and hospital staff, may they recover very soon and return to their regular life and practice Dhamma and liberate from not only this life suffering, but suffering from all lives in samsara. May all the doctors, nurses and hospital staff who are risking their life, sacrificing their comfort to take care of these patients, may they continue their wonderful service and live long in good health, continue Dhamma practice and attain liberation from samsaric suffering. May all those who have lost their loved ones, may they be free from grief and continue the practice of Dhamma and liberate from samsaric suffering. May all those who are in various troubled spots like war zones, poverty-stricken area, in places of destitute, discriminations, and all kind of problems, may they all somehow find peace, solace and comfort to live this life peacefully and practice Dhamma and attain liberation from samsaric suffering. May all of you who have participated in this and who are sharing Dhamma with us be well, happy and peaceful and attain liberation from suffering. All right. Thank you.
Thank you,
Sadhu,
Bhante.
sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu,
Thank
sadhu,
you.
sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you, Bhante.
Teruvan Sarnai.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Bhante.
you, Bhante.
Good
Thank you,
health.
Bhante.
Thank you,
Okay.
Bhante.
Thank you,
Thank you, Bhante.